From brand new sci-fi breakthroughs to hidden gems I slept on, here is a selection of sci-fi movies and TV shows I watched in 2025 and I want to discuss with you. Some are recommended, others, well, I simply want your opinion on them. Number 1. Cassandra. This is a German sci-fi thriller horror released in 2025. After years of silence, the AI assistant in Germany's oldest smart home reactivates when a new family moves in. Once awakened, the system becomes determined to never be left alone again. What begins as a new start for the family turns into a struggle against an ever-present force. This is a mini-series, there's only one season, and it's basically a cautionary tale on AI or smart home devices in general. I'm surprised I haven't heard people talk about this one because it's such a good thriller, and yes, it has horror elements, but it's not too scary for someone like me. If you've been watching this channel, you know I cannot really stand horror. I wish, but I cannot. And this is really good. It's creepy enough. In some ways it reminds me of the series Next for the theme itself of the cautionary tale on AI, but I guess that just as usual, since it's German, a lot of people missed it. And I was thinking about making a whole video about German recommendations, French recommendations, and so on, because in the case of German shows or movies, specifically in sci-fi, there is so much and it's so high quality that I truly want people to see them. Let me know if you're interested in that kind of video. Number 2. From the End of the World. This is a Japanese sci-fi adventure drama released in 2023. A high school girl, orphaned after a tragic accident, struggles to fit in and has lost all hope in life. One night, she dreams of a young girl from the Sengoku era, and upon waking, is abducted by a mysterious government agency. The people behind it believe her dreams hold the key to saving the world. This is set in a near future Japan, and once again, never heard anybody talk about this one. Perhaps it had a little bit of an odd pace, but the premise and also the execution are just what I was looking for. There are some mind-bending elements. We're following this high school girl who is grieving and is facing a really difficult life, and I truly loved how they developed the whole thing, even though it may not be a 5-star or in the top 10 sci-fi recommendations in general. If you're into the genre, of course, I want to hear your opinion on this one, if you watched it. If not, maybe this is a recommendation for you, because even if it's not top-notch sci-fi, it's a good one. Number 3. Blum. This is a Japanese animated sci-fi released in 2017, which is based on the manga series Blum. In a far-off future, cyber technology has seamlessly merged with civilization, creating fully automated cities. A devastating virus causes these systems to go haywire, turning the machines against humanity and pushing them to the edge of extinction. Amidst this chaos, a group of scavengers discovers a mysterious man who could hold the secret to humanity's survival. I first heard about Blum watching an architecture channel on YouTube. I highly recommend it, so I will put it up here. The whole channel, actually. But I was so intrigued when I saw the world building, basically, that I watched this one. And I haven't seen the series, which was released in 2003, because I couldn't find it, I guess. But in a way, I want people to watch Blum because its visuals, the whole world, are so different from what you're used to. And I saw a couple of snippets of the manga, and that's terrifying. I would never be able to go through the whole manga. And I don't know how the series was, but the movie felt as if they really hinted at the whole story, and we are stuck there without a proper satisfaction in a way. It's been a few months since I watched it, and I don't remember the plot not enough to give you any spoilers, let's say. But I remember the feeling of, okay, and now, so I guess this should be a series for this reason. The whole world is too big to be shown, and the whole plot is too vast to be explained in one movie only. And you're also drawn into the movie and you feel like you're missing something, as if some key elements to the story are given for granted, or at least that's how I felt. As if I was supposed to know already how this world turned into this. And I'm not saying that they did a poor job at explaining some things, because they did. They showed us the main elements, but I still felt like I missed something. And I'm left with curiosity, so that's why if I can find it, I will check out the series. Even though, if it's as scary as the manga, I don't know. But let me know, have you ever heard about Blam? What's your opinion? Did you enjoy it? Did you read the manga? Let me know. Number 4, The Darkest Hour. This is a Russian sci-fi action drama released in 2011. In Moscow, a group of individuals has their lives forever altered when the city is struck by a sudden alien assault, plunging everything into darkness. After days in hiding, they emerge to confront an invisible enemy capable of destroying them at any moment. I talked about other Russian movies in the past, and they all have something that feels off or cheap. But what I praise in all of these Russian films or TV shows is usually the premise. They dare to develop challenging and cool plots. They go where others don't dare to go, and probably that's why they look cheap more often than not. Because maybe with CGI, yes, you can do wonderful things until a certain point, I guess. But they do have a really good imagination, I believe. Because even though this one, again, has weird special effects, it was enjoyable. There was some science behind it, or a possible reality, potential aliens. And I always praise depictions of aliens that are not exactly as you would expect them, or as the majority of movies, media in general, portray them. So if you're into that, you are open to watch something that is not, once again, top-notch, but it has a cool premise, please check it out. Number 5, The Assessment. This is a sci-fi thriller released in 2024. In a climate-ravaged world, a successful couple undergoes a 7-day evaluation to determine their suitability for parenthood. What begins as a routine assessment quickly spirals into a psychological ordeal, forcing them to question the foundations of society and what it means to be human. This is a dystopia, but I believe it missed the mark, even though I can see why people love it and praise its cinematography, for example, the philosophy behind it, and so on. I even saw that some people say it's an absolute masterpiece, and it may be underrated if you're into dystopias and psychological thrillers, because a lot of people never even heard of The Assessment, but I have seen similar concepts better developed in other movies. I will still recommend you watch The Assessment because of the great actors. Don't expect a lot of spectacle, it's more of a psychological thriller instead. And it took some turns that I didn't appreciate or that I found almost pointless. So maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much as others. And for sure, the cinematography is worth checking out. I loved the setting, the whole house, the architecture. Have you ever seen The Assessment? Some honorable mentions here, because I've talked about them so much that I doubt you need me to tell you about the plot summary of these ones. But if you're looking for mind-bending sci-fi, watch Pantheon and Severance. If you're looking for outstanding cinematography, watch Foundation and Severance. If you're into animation, start with Pantheon. But as you can see from the other videos on my channel, I highly recommend all 3 of these. They are all perfect and different examples of science fiction and some of the best shows I've ever seen. If you're curious, I have dedicated videos for each and every one of these. Number 6, Restore Point. This is a Czech cyberpunk sci-fi thriller released in 2023. In 2041, Europe guarantees citizens the right to recover from unnatural deaths, making murder nearly impossible. A detective investigates the murder of a married couple where only one can be revived. As she works with the revived partner, they question whether the system addresses the root causes or just the consequences. I wanted to tell you about this one because have you ever heard anybody talk about it? Even though it's something that I've seen before. Or rather, it feels like a collection of different movies I've seen before, which is why I cannot pinpoint them, except for one maybe, because at first, so given the premise, I thought it was the same plot as Mickey 17. Even though I haven't seen the movie, I watched videos in which booktubers reviewed the book, and this was before the movie was released, and at least in the book the premise is really similar to this one, but then it's slightly different, and even though it's not the best movie out there, I was still intrigued enough to watch it until the end. Number 7, Arc. This is an American-Canadian sci-fi action movie released in 2016. In a dystopian world, on the brink of collapse, a couple becomes trapped in a house. As masked intruders close in, they must defend themselves and a mysterious technology that could change everything. The cycle of repeating days leaves them in a desperate fight for survival. Was Prime better than this one? Yes. But I talked about it in other videos, and here I wanted to share something new and something that I watched this year. And just like the Russian, the Czech, and the Japanese movies on this list, the Canadian ones also have a really peculiar feel. And I cannot tell you exactly what. I don't know if it's the acting, the filming itself, I don't know. But you can tell that it's not a fully American production. Number 8, Firefly. This is a space western drama series released between 2002 and 2003. Set 500 years after a galactic war, a group of outlaws aboard a small spaceship takes on any job to survive. Constantly pursued by agents and evading deadly threats, they navigate the uncharted corners of the galaxy. Their only goal is survival, as they struggle to make a better life in a lawless, dangerous universe. Why am I talking about Firefly now? Because I watched it this year for the first time, and I have yet to watch the movie. I will do that as soon as it's available to me. But I waited this long because knowing that this was cancelled was a reason for me to not grow fond of the characters. And I didn't want to risk caring too much for them, you know? But I get why people love it so much. It's way more rogue than the Honourable Star Trek. Yet it had a similar structure, even in the series itself, the episodes for example, but also a similar bond between the characters. And I have no idea if I even watched its episodes in the correct order, because I heard that that was one of the issues, that the very first time the series was released, it was out of order or something like that. And I watched it on Prime, I think, so I'm not sure if the order was correct. I guess it was. And I agree that it's a pity that they cancelled it. I have no idea why they cancelled it, because a show like that, I mean, we've had many shows with that exact same style, or, well, not the Western style, but the structure of series that, I mean, we all enjoyed this back in the day, so why did I cancel it? I have no idea. This is probably one of the few things that people would love to see being remade or getting some kind of sequel, but I think it doesn't really make sense because, well, precisely because you care about these characters, these actors, and the chemistry between them was good enough for you to love them. I don't know if they could pull this off. Not now. Number 9, Vortex. This is a German horror sci-fi released in 2001. In the near future, escalating crime leads the government to create a new prison, the Vortex. An innocent man sentenced for killing in self-defense finds himself trapped in this bizarre facility where inmates must repeat their crimes endlessly. Now, I don't think I would recommend Vortex, but I absolutely need to hear from someone else who watched it because this was such a weird viewing experience. It takes inspiration from The Matrix and a bunch of other movies, a bit like Restore Point, that had elements from a collection of different movies. This one too, but there was something that really made no sense to me, and it has to do with the structure of the movie. And at this point you have to tell me if you watched it, where you watched it, because I found it on Prime, and I think 2/3 of the movie were the movie, and then there was something else entirely. I mean, yes, still sci-fi, but it was a different plot with different characters in a different environment. It really made no sense. So I don't want to spoil anything about it, but please let me know. Have you watched Vortex? And did you see this whole thing? I don't understand. Number 10, Brazil. This is a dystopian sci-fi black comedy released in 1985. A bureaucrat escapes his dull life through fantasies of being a heroic savior. While investigating a wrongful arrest linked to a terrorist case, he encounters the woman from his dreams and becomes entangled in a labyrinth of lies, bureaucracy, and mistaken identities. His attempt to help her only drags him deeper into the chaos. This is by Terry Gilliam, and I had never seen it before. I think I watched it last month. Probably I missed it because it never aired on Italian television. But to be fair, the title is misleading. And whenever I saw it in recommendations, it didn't sound like the dystopian movie I wanted to see. It should be called something else entirely. But apart from this, I think someone recommended it to me when I was looking for weird movies, or someone left a comment under my weird movies recommendations video. That's possible. I agree that Brazil is not pleasant to watch, especially a couple of scenes, but it was fascinating. And even now, watching Severance, for example, we have a more contemporary view of a dystopian kind of office, and here in Brazil you have a whole mocking of the bureaucracy that we have to live with and we imposed to ourselves as well. So I really appreciated that. I wasn't too much into the whole fantasy and him being lost in his heroic kinds of dreams, but it was, well, something that maybe I will not watch soon again, but it's certainly something that stays there as an example of what sci-fi can be. And if you are the person who recommended Brazil before, I'm so sorry. It didn't sound appealing. Until I randomly found it and I said, okay, let's go, let's do this. If you watched any weird or even annoying sci-fi, something that really wants you to discuss it with someone else, no matter if it's good or bad, please do let me know. Type it in the comments because I'm really curious. And even if it's bad, I might check it out just to discuss it with you. And now that you watched this, check out the video on the screen. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.